Hey Gigi, we're back.
I know. I'm super excited about this.
So am I.
Yay.
Same here.
Took a while.
Hi everyone. I hope everyone has had a good summer because pretty much we were hiding out for the entire summer.
No, you were on vacation.
I was on vacation and you were pregnant.
Oh, yes, guys. Wait.
We already said it.
We already said it, right?
They know you're pregnant. Yes.
Okay, yes, I am pregnant, but I'm almost done already.
Yes. We're 4 weeks away, right?
Yes.
4
Yes.
weeks. Yeah.
Oh, I'm super
4, 5
excited.
slash.
Let's stick to 4, 3,
stick
2,
to 4.
1.
Yes, you're ready, huh?
I'm
That's
ready.
it.
I'm
You're
miserable.
ready to get that
Yeah.
baby out.
I am. I'm very much ready.
That's awesome.
I'm super excited about this season that we're going to start talking about, right? I'm super excited that
Same here.
we are going to focus on a specific theme that can go many ways,
Yep.
right? And people may feel differently about.
It's a monster that's going to take its own life, its own entity
which
as we go along.
Yeah, no, of course.
Exciting though. I'm
And
excited.
I'm very excited to say that this whole new season is going to be about sexual topics, right? And it's not just necessarily sexual positions or just having sex with your partner, but anything that has to do from a sexual content to exploration to anything, relationships, everything, because it all entwines together.
Yeah, I actually wanted to, before we get into our topic and our conversation, I wanted to point out and let our listeners know that I promise you, I'm going to make it my objective to get us recorded live. I know people have mentioned, yes, people have mentioned they want to see our faces, they want to see our reactions when we talk. So this is important because we need to captivate that side of our listeners, and it's going to help us grow and launch what we have envisioned for ourselves and this podcast.
So anybody, if you're listening to us and you know a videographer that can come over to our place,
at least to teach us how to, do our setup and make sure that we
have it. Teach us or do it for us, not so expensive, or I would have to take myself to a fans only page or
OnlyFans page.
OnlyFans page.
Yeah, we want to keep it. we want to keep it, simple. Obviously, going live. William keeps telling me, "Mommy, you guys have to focus on YouTube, not Spotify, so much because YouTube has a lot more traffic."
It goes to YouTube.
I know. We have a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
But he's saying that we have to focus on the YouTube, and then of course when we go, when we do our recordings, that's where we're going to get like the most, interaction. Yes. So, so I wanted to put that out there before we actually get into our conversation for the day. So what are we have decided that we're going to initiate this season with sexual topics. And it all boils down to it. I wanted to point out, we started this podcast because we wanted to have a safe space that we can pretty much talk about anything, explore different topics, and go to the depth of of whatever we wanted with no limits, no scarcity on different things,
no judgment.
Yep. And I wanted to point out that when we go back to the beginning of this being woman empowerment and, feeling good and secure about yourself, woman empowerment goes hand in hand with confidence.
Of course.
So to have that confidence, to feel empowered, you have to be comfortable talking about all these things. Ooh, is she kicking?
Yeah.
Oh, well, she likes the topic.
Yeah, she does.
Ooh, she gonna be spicy. I love it. So what's her name?
Oh,
I don't know.
I'm not going to share it with you because then I don't want I don't want Sergio to tell me, you didn't tell me you're going to share.
That's true.
So I'll let him share it with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm excited because I love Penny's name. So
yes. I think you're going to like this one too.
Yeah.
But back on track. Let's go.
Back on track. Okay. So what I wanted to point out was that a lot of women and men, sometimes they're embarrassed and it's a very taboo subject about being open with the things you like and the things you don't like and talking about it. I think that everyone needs to find that safe space with your partner, because that is going to bring you to like just another level sexually, intimately. That's the word. Intimately with your partner. So I think that's kind of cool. It's a good feeling to have. So with that said, Gigi, The other day I was speaking with Bebe, and we were just kind of like, okay, let's have a date night. And he's like, well, ¿qué vamos a hacer? Because, he doesn't speak English, so we can't go to the movies because that motherfucker falls asleep. And I have to either falls asleep or I have to translate everything while it's happening. And there's nothing more annoying than being in the movies and having to fucking translate the movie.
Yes.
So we don't do the movies. We do the movies when William wants him to come to a movie, and it has to be action where he doesn't need to understand.
Correct.
He knows there's a bad guy, a good guy, and somebody's getting killed.
And that's
someone's after somebody.
And someone's going to be the hero.
Someone's going to be the hero, and that's about it, right? Those are the ones that he goes to, which is very, seldom. So I was like, let's do something different. And, like dinner, boring, I'm like, what? Let's go driving around. So we ended up in Hialeah, and I was like, oh, you know what? We should go to the sex store. And he's like,
were you like off like a 27th, that section there where all the
on 8th
Love
Avenue.
Shacks are through or something like that?
Well, those used to be Love Shacks, but not anymore. In Okeechobee, off of Okeechobee and 8th, it's Caliente.
Yeah, okay.
So I was like, oh, let's go to Caliente.
Yeah.
And he's like, ¿pa qué? I'm like, vamos a ver lo que tienen.
So tell me what Caliente is, because I don't know what Caliente is.
Okay, so Caliente is an adult superstore. They call it the adult superstore. So it's like a sex toy store.
Ooh.
But they don't only have sex toys. They have everything. Like they have lingerie.
Yeah.
And they have, oils and, all things.
Do they have like the video rooms and things like that?
They do.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's all things sex.
Okay, cool.
Intimacy and everything else. So that was a field trip, and it was quite interesting.
Okay.
So now that I know that you haven't been.
I've never been
there, but you've been to a sex store.
What kind of question is that for me?
But here in Miami,
not in Miami, like Broward. Yeah, I've been to
Broward,
like here. I've been here in Florida.
Oh,
yes.
okay, that's what I meant.
But they're boring. Like I'm like, okay, you go to the sex stores, and I'm like, all right, well, this is cool, this is cute. Let's buy this. Let's try this or whatever. So no, I've been to the sex stores. They're pretty fun.
They're fun.
Pero caliente sounds
caliente. It sounds caliente. Of course, everything. The Latinos are always, they're more out there than the Americans, right? The Americans are more. I'll keep to myself, the door closed.
Adult store. That's what you see.
Exactly, adult store. Correct. And they have like, magazines and, porn movies or whatever. But yeah, so that was quite interesting. Not going to go too much into detail about our visit, but
you should.
Well, yeah, I mean, I should. Not that I don't want to. I just didn't want our story to be about me. I wanted kind of like to bounce around. But I guess I could tell you. So I was like, okay, let's find the toy, right? Let's find the toy. And then the lady's like, well, what are you interested in? I'm like, well, it doesn't matter.
De todo un poco.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Let's just, let's pry, right?
Yeah.
Let's go around and see. So it's very interesting because obviously they have toys for everyone. It's not just for women, it's also for men. And if it's girl on girl, if it's guy on guy, they have a little bit of everything. So of course we go to the butt plugs.
Okay.
This was the fun, one of the highlights. So I go to the butt plugs, and he's like, all the guys, the majority of the guys are anal retentive. They don't want to go to that area.
I don't understand why though. I don't understand why, because it is the best part for them. It's the most sensitive part for them.
I know.
Right. And the funny thing is that they'll like it.
Of course.
That's the funny part.
Of course.
But then they'll think that they're gay.
Mind,
it's like, oh, I'm gay.
Exactly.
And I'm like, no, you're not.
Exactly. So I'm like, okay, well, so I was like reading different ones, and they had obviously different sizes and different types, and some that vibrated and some that didn't, and all this stuff. And I was just like, oh my God. And then I'm trying to explain to him, how these things function and whatever, the G spot and the thing,
I could just imagine all his comments, by the way.
I was just dying, like he's a character on its own. I'm like, listen, we don't have to use it on you. You can use it on me. Let's just start, let's introduce it. And I'm perfectly fine with it. And then of course, he's giggling. He gets very like, I'm scared, I don't know. That's a very unfamiliar territory. Yeah. Very unfamiliar territory.
Also, especially with the culture. Yes. So I think that plays a vital role into this subject, right?
Yeah.
Because I realize that some cultures are just like, no,
it's like you're not.
It's taboo. It's just you're taboo, not doing this.
You're not talking about this.
No.
Oh my God! So that was quite interesting. So we went from there to like the Kegel balls. And all this stuff, and he, of course, has seen it, and I introduced him to that when we watched 50 Shades of Grey.
Yes.
And I told him what
esa película
it was.
Sí lo vio.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, esa sí.
He's seen all of that.
Oh, that's the one he wants to see. He won't fall asleep on that one.
That is correct.
Yeah.
That he will see. Yeah. So we saw, those we've seen all the 50 Shades. So I told him about the balls, and he was like, "Eso está interesante." And then he's trying to figure out, like, if those are inside, how do you get them out? And I was like, well, that's the reason for the exercises, and so you get that muscle trained, basically the way you do your biceps and your quads and your hamstrings, whatever. So he's laughing because I'm like all into it. I'm reading all the packages. He's like, en serio.
So at the end of the day, what did you end up buying?
Butt plugs.
Okay, plugs, guys, plugs.
Yes, because it was a little package with different sizes.
Okay.
Yes. What else? I bought a new vibrator.
Okay. So plugs, vibrator.
Yes, plugs, vibrator. The best lubricant.
Okay, which is
the U.S. the Navy, Army, Navy, something to that effect. It's silicone based.
Okay.
So I love it because it doesn't get sticky, and it's the best. It's literally the best I've ever tried.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at
and
that.
it doesn't get, since it doesn't get sticky, it doesn't make things, all dirty and whatever. Love that. So they have it. It's like $27 for a bottle. It's like you can't even get lube for cheap anymore.
Not at all.
Yeah. But it is the best lube I've ever had.
I'll give that one a try.
Give it a try. It's the best.
Yeah.
So we got lube. What else did we get? Oh, I got one of those, like the little string of balls. It's like a butt plug, but it's like from little ball to like a bigger ball.
Just like the pearl thing.
Correct, like the pearl thing. Yes. I got that. I have not used it, but that was part of the
That's
buy.
quite interesting because it has like the hole where you stick your finger in there, you put it in, and then you
start pulling it
pull
out.
it out. Yes. Oh, well, good for you.
Yeah.
Sounds like you had a great date.
It was a great experience at Caliente. We did have a great date.
Did he enjoy it too?
Yeah, he likes it.
Okay.
Bebe is a lot of fluff, but he enjoys it, and he likes to see me happy. So he doesn't really. He's just like, oh, this is.
Well, I'm happy that you guys got to enjoy that and experience that. And it's I think it's important for couples, right? Whether you're just dating, you're married for a year, 2 years, 25 years, it doesn't matter, right? Be open enough to talk about these experiences, right? Do these experiences together, because at the end of the day, everyone has sex. We all know that, right? If you're married, you're having sex. And why have boring sex?
Correct.
Right?
And the reality is, with time, just because you said boring sex, with time, didn't mean to interrupt. With time, everything starts to become a routine.
It's because it is a routine, because you have a schedule,
life and children.
Listen, we have to. It's been a very long time since we've had sex because I'm pregnant, and it's not because I'm pregnant. It's because I am miserable and I'm in pain and I have a lot of pressure, and I'm just not up for it. Like, that is the God honest truth, right? There's a part of me that wants it, but then by the time that we get to it, because Penny's in bed already, I'm like, okay, well, I need to go to sleep because I don't sleep at nighttime. So fuck it, right? And I'm ready to pop out. I'm ready to give birth because I want to go back to my sex life, you know? Course. And it's not a selfish thing to say at all. For me, it's like, it's important to have that intimacy with your partner. It's important to have that exploration with your partner. And that is something that I miss very much. And I remember that when I had my Penelope first, right? My biggest concern was, how can I maintain the same person with my partner that I was before becoming a mother, right? In the sexual side of it all, because it's important. So yes, the older that you get in your relationship, the more time you have, the more routines that you have, and sex becomes a routine.
Absolutely.
It becomes, I'm not going to call it a chore, because it's like, I don't like to do chores, but I like to have sex. But it's like, okay, we know we have to have sex. This is part of our partnership. It's part of our relationship. But what can we do to make it fun? What can we do to explore together? What do you like? What do I like, right? Because just because we may be doing these positions, right? And men are easy to please, you know, and I've learned that. Yeah. But it doesn't mean that they don't like to get out sometimes and do something different.
Out of their comfort zone.
Out of their comfort zone, right? And I think that's important. I think that women, we, you know, it's more important for us to get out of our comfort zone too, and introduce them to new things as well, because as much as men talk a lot, right? They're very closed-minded with a lot of things. Absolutely. And then you guys are also both Cuban, right? And I think he's more Cuban than you, some way, somehow.
Well, he was born in Cuba. I wasn't.
he was born in Cuba, you weren't. And also there's a different mentality that comes from that. There's a lot of taboo stuff that happens. So kudos to you for being able to go out doing this as a date day, right?
Yep.
And finding something to do, which is not the things that we do every single day, your typical vanilla stuff.
Right.
And the exploration between both of you guys to say, oh, how about we try this? What do you think about this? Gives you an insight of what's happening inside the person's brain, or mind, I should say, when it comes about sex, that it is not just intercourse and it's not just oral sex. It is not just coming. There is just so much more to sex, to intimacy. And we don't have, sometimes certain people don't explore that because of church, because of culture, because of what they were taught. And then for a lot of women, because of the fear of being judged. So I saw one of the TED Talks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the TED Talks we're talking about was that women tend to shut down with their husbands in not sharing their fantasies. So you know how some husbands say, oh, my wife doesn't have fantasies. She's not into threesomes. That's not true. Your wife is not sharing those things with you because she's afraid to be judged, right?
Or afraid of what your reaction
will be. It may not
be
the threesome that she wants to do. And I'm not saying that but there is a fantasy there, right? There is a need, there is a want, and she's not sharing it with you.
I think people in general sometimes are just afraid to admit they have fantasies. And if they do have a fantasy, they're afraid of the reaction of who they tell. They're afraid of confronting the fact that they have one.
Well, because sometimes the fantasy may not be with the person that you're with.
Correct.
Right?
But the reality is, if you are having them and you're thinking this, you are abstaining of being who you are.
Correct.
You're lying to the person you're with because you're lying to yourself.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, obviously it's a difficult conversation to initiate. But once you open that door, I think that you will feel some kind of relief because at the end of the day, it is a fantasy, right?
Correct.
So you don't have to tap into it. You don't have to fulfill it.
But you can talk to your partner about it.
Yeah, because if there's an alternate to that fantasy, or a possibility to, filling it in another way, it will work. Now, back to being pregnant and having sex.
Yeah, like with Penny, I used to have a lot of sex.
You see,
she was an easy pregnancy. This one is not.
Yeah, she's different.
She's just so different, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm tired. I'm exhausted mentally and mostly physically, obviously, right?
Yeah.
But it's just so different because with Penny, I was horny all the time. Like I would tell Sergio, can you stick these fingers inside of me? Like, can you just find her head? Like that's because he would sometimes be scared to have sex with me, right? Because he's like, he's going to hurt her. And I'm like, you're not going to hurt her. Don't worry,
Yeah.
So it was just so different. Now it's like.
I was just going to tap into that because I had literally the best sex when I was pregnant with William.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I was horny all day, every day. Yeah. It was, if he wasn't around, I would masturbate. I mean, it was
that was me with Penelope.
It was a lot.
Now with this one.
Yeah.
This one,
I think that, different.
And I think that, at least for me, it's just that it's more overwhelming because I think that this one is coming with more fears, right? Which is not the topic for this topic, but I think that it's just that there's more happening in my personal world.
Yeah.
And more happening with Penelope that it's just different.
Yeah.
And thank God I have a supporting and understanding partner when it comes to that he's not like, oh, well, you're not giving me sex and fuck you.
Right.
So luckily for me, I have someone who understands, not to say that he doesn't want it, pobrecito.
Yes, of course.
But
he understands that.
But he understands that
you don't feel up to it.
Yeah. It's just I don't know that my body can take it right now, because like I'm suffocating.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's just so different.
I understand. It's a lot. Nobody, obviously women understand us, but women also know that they've had 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 kids or 5 or whatever. No 2 pregnancies are the same. So it's not the same. It's a whole lot on its own.
Yeah.
So to involve, having to please someone, and that takes.
And you find ways, right?
Of course,
you find your ways to do whatever you need to do. I'm definitely going to check out the Caliente, at least for me and Sergio, talking about sex. has never been an issue.
Yeah.
Like there could be a commercial coming up or something I saw online, and I'll be like, oh my God, that's pretty cool. I should use that, or I should get that. And he'll be like, of course you would like that, you know? And I'm like, well, I'm just saying, like, you know,
yeah, it would be interesting.
It would be interesting.
Let's try it.
So
That's good though. That's a good thing to have. I'm not gonna say with my first husband, we had it was very like shunned. We never really spoke about sex. We had it obviously, but it was not, I mean, we did a little bit, but with Bebe, it's been a lot easier, more comfortable, more open. Like, you know, we can go to strip clubs together.
You don't feel judged.
Correct.
And I think that that's really what it comes down to, right?
Yeah.
And there's this thing that women, you know, like we have to behave a certain way. We have to act a certain way.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't find that to be true. I feel like in some cases I can take control over our sex life, right?
Yeah.
In some cases, I may be the one where like, okay, well, let me strap it on, you know, or whatever.
Right.
I'm not saying that that's what Sergio wants, guys. I'm just saying that
we're not putting that out there. We are not putting that out there.
That's how open-minded he is. He's probably going to kill me. He's like, watch yourself. But the point that I'm trying to make with this is that I'm very open-minded to trying all of those things out. And if Sergio is going to be the person that's going to judge me based on this, then he's not my person. And that's really what it comes down to, I feel, you know, because when you do have your person, you do feel comfortable sharing your sexual fantasies with. And I remember when I met Sergio, he was like, I'm not looking for somebody vanilla. That was the first thing that he told me, right? And I was like, great, because neither am I.
I'm not vanilla.
Yeah, I'm not vanilla. I don't expect you to be vanilla either, because if you are, then this is not going to work.
Right.
Because what happens is that then I will shut down in my wants and my needs. And then it's just, it's no
not
good.
Gonna work.
It won't work.
Of course.
So it is important, guys and ladies, and to really talk about your sex life, explore what your fantasies are, explore.
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to admit what you want, what you would like to try, what you feel that you need. And if you do try it and don't like it, don't be afraid to say you don't like it.
Correct.
Communicate, open up, because you have absolutely no idea the world that you're missing out on if you don't explore.
Correct.
You know, and
how it works in a relationship.
And at 40 and at 50, your life could literally take a 180 when it comes to intimacy. And sometimes that's what you need. You've been with the same partner 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. And, you know, you go home and you are in bed and you both look at each other and you're like, okay. And it's, you know, missionary style. And it's just like, okay, 1, 2, 3, oh, you're done. Okay, good night. Bye. Like, there's just so much more than that.
And even if you're going to do it missionary style, right? There's just so much passion that can come from that, right? There's just so many other things that you can do.
Of course.
So when you talk about it and you say, hey, listen, you know, this position really doesn't work for me because I don't feel the same, or I can't come with this position. Right. I think that's a beautiful thing to be able to talk to your partner and say, hey, let's try this. Let's try the other stuff.
Yeah.
And I want people to really open up to that. I'm not saying, you know what, just go out and live la vida loca. I mean, if you want to, by all means.
But exactly. But your life is your life.
Your life is your life.
It's just give yourself a chance.
Give yourself a chance with your partner.
That's the key of today's session. Give yourself a chance to be you. Give yourself a chance to be happy, to explore and to try new things.
And to get to know one another all over again.
All over again.
Because you know what? You and Bebe are not the same person that you guys were when you first met. Things change.
Of course.
Right? Needs change, wants change. So to open up and explore in so many ways, your sex life opens up to so many other things, like better communication. Because if you can talk about your sex life and I can go ahead and tell Sergio, you know what, buddy, that's not working for me right now. You know, maybe we can try something different. Then I'm not going to hold back on other things, right? Sharing with him as to what makes me happy. What do I need? What do I want? You know? Yep. All of those things are so important because it opens up the respect for one another, the communication, the honesty. Yep. And I think that's exploring the new individual that you may have. Of course. You know, I think that is so important in relationship, and everything is stages. You know, things change. Yep. Your sex life changes too. And sometimes it's about spicing it up. Sometimes it could be about toning it down a little bit, you know? Yeah,
absolutely. But it could go both ways. Yeah. It could go both ways. It could be something that's going to tap into this new world, or it could be you opening Pandora's box and it causing friction. but then you can talk about it and work through it, and
Correct.
you know, just
I love it. I love it for you. I love the fact that you guys enjoyed that. I'm going to check out Caliente. I'm going to tell Sergio, hey, let's go check out Caliente.
yes, before the baby's born, and
before
then
the
have a little
baby's
box
born.
of surprises for after your 40 days. So you know you're allowed to have sex after that, right?
Yeah, but I can still have sex before the 40 days is over,
yeah?
as long as I wear a condom. Well, as long as he wears a condom.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Because you're still bleeding the 40 days, supposedly.
That's
right?
not the point. The point
Okay.
is that I can get pregnant.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with that said, this is going to lead us to next week's topic: having sex with your period, having sex in the water.
Yeah.
If you do have your period, what do you do? Where do you have sex?
Okay.
Yeah?
I like this topic.
Yes. Okay. So that's where
Yeah.
we're going next week. So you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Enjoy the weekend and just have fun.
Oh, we'll see. Well, we'll talk to you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.